We are in conversation today with Mr. Raykesh Omprakash Mehra, the director of Rang De Vasanti, the incredibly huge success, and I'm sure many more movies to come. Mr. Mehra, when you came here to Indonesia, I have heard this analogy where they say that Hollywood is the brain of the movie industry, where it all started, and people make a lot of movies which, tease the intellect. And then we come to India, where we have Bollywood, where it's all emotional and where it's tear-jerkers are created. And Hong Kong, where it's the physical aspect, where there's lots of kung fu and martial arts. And Indonesia itself is a mixture of India and Hong Kong. What is your view on this kind of observation?
If you don't mind, first I'd like to correct the term Bollywood.
Okay.
I don't know where it is, and I don't belong to it.
Okay.
I'm a representative of the Indian film industry, within which I make Hindi movies.
Okay.
So I don't know where this term Bollywood came from and how it got stuck, and it's, I think, more of people from outside looking at us.
Right.
We don't care for the term at all.
Okay.
The genesis of movies was more than America. It was more like Europe, I think, and especially France and East Europe, Russia. They had very strong movement. Italy, lovely movies in the past, and then like everything else, the Americans kind of
Took it over.
They Americanized entertainment.
Right.
And so now they own the storytelling of English movies,
Okay.
at least. So, and they have a very strong identity there and in Hollywood. And I must say, they tell more tearjerkers than Indians do. There's no question about it. They're the master of tearjerkers and master of emotions. And yes, definitely there is Japanese, Chinese cinema. Then there's also in Middle East a very strong Iranian cinema, and Japanese and Chinese are also very emotional, not just kung fu
For martial arts.
or martial arts. It's just that you get your identity. It gets stuck because America had been watching martial arts as a Sunday morning TV show for the last 30 years. So it was easier for the world to digest a martial art movie. So that's how movies like Crouching Tiger or a Hero or Kung Fu Hustle or Flying Daggers, they did very well. But then there are also highly acclaimed films like Raise the Red Lantern, and there's Farewell My Concubine, and there's some great Chinese films
Very
out
nice
there.
Chinese movies, yes.
And then again, Japanese cinema is like full of masterpieces and full of great filmmakers, and we all look up to them and learn from them. And so in India is also the term, like for a very long time we've been making musicals, and essentially, so if you watch our movies, there'll be song and dances interspersed at various intervals.
Yep.
And so that's the basic identity which has been happening. But now it's changing, and it's again our responsibility of the new generation of filmmakers to
Break the mold.
Oh yes, of course, break the mold and find yourself, because this business does offer you something where you can discover your own identity.
It's more like a personal path to
always
explore
anything,
yeah.
even any business, any work, any sphere of life, whether it's sports, you'll always find your own personal
Correct.
path out there. And
So
I hope we can change the musical thing about the
yeah.
Indian films. Yeah.
Although
Not for
it
the sake
adds-
of changing it.
Yeah, it adds a lot to the movies, in the sense it gives us some common music to share.
Yes and no. We've lived it for so long that we are scared to change it. But I at times find it very funny when a soldier or a doctor breaks
Yeah.
into a dance and a song.
That's true. Among all these movie makers that you have around the world, who has influenced you the most? Not on your work, but on your thinking and how you'd like to treat your subjects.
So many of them. It's if I start counting, it's a never-ending list. And from the east, there has been Kurosawa. Then East Europe and Europe, there's Kieslowski, Christoph Kieslowski, who's really influenced the way maybe I think. Definitely there's Federico Fellini, then in America there's Scorsese, there is Sam Peckinpah, whom I really like. Oliver Stone is there. Tim Burton among the contemporaries is very strong.
So you have a whole different range of people from
Yeah.
whom you can take things that you'd like to portray within your own work.
You have to get inspired by them,
Yeah.
and all of them, among the great Indian masters, there's Bimal Roy, there's V. Shantaram, there's Raj Kapoor. The whole era of the 60s, Chetan Anand, Vijay Anand, of the 50s and the 60s was an amazing era for Indian movies.
Really amazing, yes.
And great stories were told, and so all of them really inspire us, and it's kind of they've handed over a baton and we need to now run fast, I guess.
So would you be looking at Indonesia as your next location?
It's such a beautiful country, more importantly such beautiful people out here.
Very friendly.
Absolutely. And I happen to be in a small island called off the island called Menjangan, and I was very keen to go to Sulawesi.